Hello, my name is Ali Duzette. I'm a mixed modality intuitive healer. And today I wanted to share with you an exercise for for forgiveness that you can do on yourself. Okay. This is a very quick exercise, but I'll explain it very quickly how I discovered it. I was reading in the scriptures in the book of Enos, and Enos he asks to be forgiven of his sins. He's forgiven, and he asks, Lord, how is it done? And when I read that, I thought, wow, what an amazing question. How is it done? And I said, Lord, can you show me what forgiveness looks like? And so this is what I saw. I saw that inside the energy field, what unforgiveness looks like, it looks like little black tornadoes, okay, a very turbulent energy. And I understood that this turbulence of the energy basically prevents us from keeping that commandment to be still and know that God is God. And so to experience stillness, we have to eradicate all the unforgiveness from our energy fields. Okay. So this is the exercise. Okay. I'll just talk you through it and then you'll know how to do it. So go ahead and close your eyes and take some good deep breaths and just pull up, whatever situation you need to forgive about. Go ahead and ask to see the unforgiveness of it, okay? And you might imagine it as a black tornado. You might not be very visual. I talk about seeing things, but I'm actually not very visual. It's kind of more like a perception or like the idea. So you might just have the idea of a tornado in your mind. You might feel like you're making it up, and that's fine. The most amazing thing about intuitive healing work is that it does feel made up, but it works, So you just try it, just give it a try and see how it feels. So you have the idea, that may be an image, but for sure the idea of this black tornado of unforgiveness about the issue that you need to forgive. Okay, and now all you need to do is get rid of that tornado, however it takes. Take a big old deep breath and exhale it out and dissolve it into a million pieces, so small that it doesn't exist anymore. You can crumple it up, imagine that those tornadoes are actually drawn on pieces of paper and crumple them up and throw them away and set the dumpster on fire. Sometimes forgiveness is difficult. Sometimes these unforgivenesses don't want to leave. And in those cases, what can be really helpful is imagining Jesus standing next to you. And then what you will do is ask him for his divine guidance. And you can ask him, like, what will it take for me to forgive this? You can hold hands and give him permission to delete the tornadoes for you and just dissolve them, shatter them, just get rid of them however it takes. So most of the time, this process is very easy, and hopefully you already completed it through that quick exercise. You saw how fast it was. And sometimes it takes a little bit more work. Sometimes there's resistances. Sometimes they're not even yours. Sometimes your subconscious mind will need a very specific thing validated. For example, it might need you to like really validate how hurt you were, or maybe that there's a particular emotion in play that you didn't realize that you were feeling. Like maybe it wasn't just anger, it was also heartbreak, or maybe it wasn't just heartbreak, it was also panic, and so maybe you need more acknowledgement before it will go. Sometimes you need a belief program altered, and that would mean a lot of people have beliefs that say things like, if I forgive, then it means that what they did wasn't wrong. I can't forgive or else that person won't be punished. And so then what you need is somebody to go in and kind of manually remove those subconscious programs and put in the programs for knowing that it's safe to forgive and that it's okay to give yourself permission to forgive. It doesn't make what was done okay. It does not mean that they won't face a consequence. So you can go to a healer that knows how to deal with subconscious programming, and they can just do that for you. If you know how, you can just do that for yourself. And then a lot of times the forgivenesses will go through. Occasionally, the perpetrator will put in resistances to being forgiven, and that can be lodged in your space as well. So that would be issues of I see this a lot, particularly with like adults that have hurt children, and now the children have grown up and come to me, and so like when the person that has hurt this other person, they feel really guilty about it. Sometimes they will put in a thing that energetically says, like, I'm not allowed to be forgiven. No one can forgive me. I'm such a terrible person. and that kind of thing. And that's kind of their business, but if it's lodged in your space, then there are ways to clear that so that you can forgive. And so a lot of times I feel that our unforgivenesses, and many times it's because we feel very unforgiving, but sometimes, occasionally, it's because the person who hurt us is very resistant to being forgiven, feels very unworthy, feels very guilty, feels very terrible, and does not want that forgiveness, and has put in protections to protect themselves from being forgiven. Because at the end of the day, we all have our own agency, and we decide how we want to be treated, and many of us don't want to be treated well. So those are all things that can be taken care of with like theta work, or even like healing touch. There's just a whole bunch of different ways that you can take care of those kinds of issues. But I would say about 70% of the time, this forgiveness exercise should just clear the issue just like that, and it will be very fast, and you'll be stunned and feel so neutral. You'll want to be sure to clear all of the emotions involved with all of that. And on top of the emotions, it's not just enough to use the Bradley Nelson's emotion code chart. What you'll want to do is also scan for any residual trauma and use that wording. And once those things are clear, please go ahead and fill the spaces where those emotions were with healing light, because what happens when we release emotions but do not do that is we are left with kind of a hole. So a lot of my intuitive healing work deals with people that have done a lot of emotion code work but haven't fixed. They release stuff and then don't fix the problem. It's like you were stabbed with a knife and you pull out the knife, which is great, but you're still left with the wound. So be sure to go back through and fill it with healing light, heal up all those spaces, and you should feel very wonderful. And that's all. I hope you just have the most wonderful day. Forgive, forgive, forgive. It's the best. Bye.